So it's time to do some maintenance to my 1992 Jeep Wrangler YJ Islander. The Jeep is in great shape with no rust on the frame. However, the interior floor or tub had rust along with small holes, especially on the driver's side and passenger side floor. So I decided to install spray-in bed liner on the interior floor. To start, I removed the seats, seat belts, carpet, and all door hardware. Removing the bolts was not easy. I ended up breaking a few and throwing all of them away. Be sure to visit my blog for bolt sizes and additional useful information. The link is in the description. Next, I used my grinder with a grinding disc and a 40 grit metal sanding disc to remove the rust, the loose debris, and to knock down any high spots. I also used my rotary sander with 80 grit sandpaper to scuff up the smooth areas and remove the embedded dirt. I sprayed adhesive remover on the tacky areas around the Jeep that were used to hold the carpet in place. Then I scrubbed the area with a Scotch-Brite pad. I spent a lot of time preparing the surface for the spray bed liner to make sure I don't ever have to do this again. Just sprayed in the degreaser. I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes while I beat my son in a game of horse. Then we're gonna come back, we're gonna rinse all this off and put in the metal etching. You gotta call that brick.
Nuh-uh.
No, man.
Are you gonna miss it though? You lost.
I decided to use Pour 15, which is a product that bonds to rust and makes it a paintable surface. This stuff spreads very easily and it goes a long way. I only use 2 small cans. Be sure to remember to wear gloves and a respirator when applying this stuff. The smell is a bit strong. Next, I used painter's tape and a painter's plastic tarp to cover the areas I didn't want to get sprayed with bed liner. I read this stuff is very difficult to remove once it sets. I purchased the tintable bed liner kit and hoped I could get 2 coats out of this amount. I followed the mixing instructions and quickly realized there was not enough room in the bottle with the tint added, which caused me to spill a little when I put the spray gun in the bottle. There is a workaround to this issue, which you will see in a later step. Then I determined the consistency by spraying the material on the plastic painter's tarp. The consistency of the material that I liked best was when I had my air compressor set at 60 psi. Also, I forgot to mention earlier that I lightly scuffed the Pour 15 with 80 grit sandpaper by hand and removed the dust with a tack cloth. Pour 15 is really smooth and I was concerned the material wouldn't adhere to it well. I focused on the hard to reach places first, like behind the gas pedals, around the base of the roll bars, and in the corners. I installed 2 air vents in my workshop, and these did a great job at removing the fumes. I wanted to make sure to get a thin coat on the entire interior of my Jeep. When I felt the bottle getting lighter, I sprayed the outside edge of the Jeep. I was very surprised at how much area I covered with one bottle. Once the material dried, I could clearly see where I needed more material. So there's not enough room in this bottle to mix the tint and the hardener or the activator, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to pour it all in this container, and then I'm going to mix it, pour it in here, and spray. I have my air hose, my spray gun, and it's set to 60 psi. I find that's the best for me and my environment. I encourage you to test yours on a scrap piece of board, piece of plywood, or what have you, to ensure that you get the consistency that you're after. So I'm going to pour all of this inside of the container, but first I'm going to make sure that it's mixed up. And I don't have a stir stick, that's why I'm using the chip brush. I sprayed the second coat the following day. I focused on the areas I missed and then applied an even coat on the rest of the interior of the Jeep. Then I removed the tape and allowed the material to set for 3 days before installing the seats, seat belts, and door hardware. I was able to remove rust, reinforce the interior floor, replace all of my interior screws and bolts, and replace carpet with a more durable floor that is visually appealing and easy to clean. I think all in all, it was a win-win.